IIT Kanpur organized the Golden Jubilee reunion for the first time, and it was the class of 1965 who just finished 50 years of graduation. This is also known as the Pioneer Batch because it was the first batch to move into the Kalyanpur campus and the first batch to graduate. We have some stories about them and they will be told by the alumni themselves who have come here from different parts of the world. Some of them have been managers, some of them have been government servants, some of them have been businessmen, some of them have been entrepreneurs, and it's a mix which we have tried to put it together.
I joined IIT Kanpur in 1962, on invitation of Professor of Physics at that time. He said that we are having an experiment on science-based engineering education in India at Kanpur. Why don't you join?
So I applied. I had not heard from them, and I was in UP intermediate, and I got the telegram that I had been admitted to IIT Kanpur. I was overjoyed and delighted to come.
One fine morning I got a telegram from these people, come and join on 9th of August. So on 8th I started from Delhi in the night.
IIT जो खुला उसके बारे में एक IIT खड़गपुर के स्टूडेंट के ज़रिए हमको पता लगा कि यहाँ पर IIT कानपुर बन रहा है, इसलिए उसमें वहाँ पर एडमिशन लें. मैंने अप्लाई किया.
10,000 we were told that 10,000 people have applied. Out of 10,000 only hundreds were selected. So my position in the Bihar University as a whole, it was second. So I got selected and we joined.
My father couldn't afford to send me to any IIT outside of Kanpur. So when ads appeared for IIT Kanpur, I thought it was God sent. So I applied and was subsequently accepted.
क्योंकि उस समय मैं 16.5 साल का था, इस वजह से कुछ इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते थे. बट इसी बीच हमारे होम टाउन के न्यूज़पेपर में IIT का ऐड निकला, जो हमारे भाई ने देखा और हमको सजेस्ट करा कि इसमें अप्लाई कर दो, क्योंकि उसमें उम्र की कोई उस तरह की रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं थी.
I passed out inter science from my own village and did well in that exam and got selected in IIT Kanpur.
ये सन 1960 की बात है. उस वक्त ये मालूम हुआ कि IIT कानपुर का स्टार्ट हो गया है, तो हमने भी इसमें अप्लाई कर दिया. चूँकि हमारे नंबर अच्छे थे तो इसमें हमारा सिलेक्शन हो गया और हम यहाँ पर यहाँ के स्टूडेंट हो गए.
I came in 1947 and I was here till 1956, and of course when the first batch started I was back in 1960 through 65.
I got a telegram pretty late in August. So I arrived here, and of course everybody else was here ahead of me, so it was a little bit confusing in the beginning, being the last man in.
We were only 100 students, and we had a very large variety of them from all over India, but particularly from the north.
In IIT campus, also we are just told by my friends, we are having two set of people with different backgrounds. The person who came mostly from UP, they are having intermediate, that is 10+2 system, and this English was a subject, so they were not a medium of English education. While the other batch was higher secondary or senior Cambridge or there is some pre-university, they were having English medium school education and came here.
So we arrived there in the government GCTI. There were no buildings. Kalyanpur did not quite exist. We were taken by a little blue truck or bicycle about 5 kilometers to the HBTI campus where classes were held.
The IIT was in HBTI, so the students used to live in Vishnupuri and other areas. So I was warden of 2 of the hostels, and on 63 March the students moved to the campus, then I also moved with them.
It was kind of, we borrowed hostels, borrowed labs, borrowed buildings for classes, and it even borrowed teachers.
Actually, when we moved this campus, there was nothing here, no light. First day we moved, the light went off, there was no water. So Dr. Muthana, purchased 16 Petromaxes for the light, and similarly well was drawn so that we could have continuous supply of water.
उस वक्त यहाँ पर कैंपस टोटल खाली था, लोग हॉस्टल में कभी-कभी ऊपर छत पे चढ़ जाते थे। टेलीस्कोप से उस वक्त यहाँ पर लोग दूर-दूर तक देखते थे, कोई दिखलाई नहीं देता था। अगर चलता हुआ कोई आदमी या कोई शख्स दिखलाई दिया तो उसको देखने के लिए सब लोग इकट्ठा हो जाते थे, ऐसा लगता था जंगल में मोर नाचा। उसके बाद धीरे धीरे यहाँ की बिल्डिंग्स बनती गई और हॉस्टल 1 में हम लोग रहने लगे। 1963 में IIT कानपुर का जो कैंपस आज यहाँ मौजूद है उसका शिलान्यास किया गया। शिलान्यास सबसे पहले वर्कशॉप में रखा गया। वर्कशॉप में कुछ दिन के बाद क्लासेस चालू हुए।
We were living in the hostel and every teacher, every professor knew us by name, and if anybody did not do well in the any test, immediately it was informed to Dr. Kelkar, and Dr. Kelkar personally will talk to you nicely and then suddenly broach the subject, what happened in that test or something like that,
कुछ अपने हॉस्टल की बात बताएं कि उस समय गर्मी के मौसम में हम लोग हॉस्टल के छत के ऊपर सोते थे और सफ़ेद, और सुबह जब उठते थे तो चादर पूरी काली होती थी, क्योंकि एल्गिन मिल की जो एग्जॉस्ट जो चिमनी से जो निकल रहा था तो उसमें कोयले के पार्टिकल्स होते थे, जो कि सुबह जब उठते थे तो छत पे तो चादर पे देखें बिल्कुल काली उस समय।
क्लासेस बहुत अच्छी तरह से सुबह 8 से 5 बजे तक चलते थे।
One of the things that constrained me from, or seemed to constrain me, was that my family was not able to help me financially. So I was really in a dilemma, because I couldn't go back to my family and say that, aur paisa dijiye, because they didn't have anything to give me. So, something went up in my head. I had always, from the initial days, thought Dr. Kelkar was a unique person, and perhaps he would understand my dilemma. So after the first year, exams were over, in the summer vacations, I went to Dr. Kelkar and I said, "Sir, I want to drop out." And Dr. Kelkar immediately said, "Why?" And he knew each of us by name, so he said, "Mr. Banerjee, why do you want to drop out?" I said, "Sir, I don't have enough money to continue." So he said, "Well, let me see what I can do." And he was a man of such great vision and such a humanitarian that he said, "Okay, you come and see me in a week." So मैं गया उनके पास एक हफ्ते के बाद, and he said, "You don't have to worry. It's summer vacation time. We need help in the library. So why don't you work in the library?" And he agreed to pay me a grand sum of 2 rupees an hour for working in the library. And actually 2 rupees was a good compensation in those days. So 8 hours a day, 16 rupees per day, for 6 days a week. It helped me a great deal, because then I could continue in my second year and so on.
Towards the end of our second year, early in our third year, we started getting American professors. The Kanpur Indo-American program was signed. Nehru had gone to United States, met John Kennedy in '62, and they signed an agreement that United States will help IIT Kanpur. And not only that, they also introduced what is called Kanpur Indo-American Program, KIAP, K-I-A-P. And what KIIP was, that 9 top American universities will not only help IIT Kanpur monetarily with equipment, but send their professors for a period of 1, 2 or 3 years. And we were taught by these American professors.
And I was at one of those universities, namely MIT in Massachusetts. I had traveled in Europe considerably before that, but I'd never been to Asia. So I looked upon this as an opportunity to help the Institute get started, contribute to the education of students, and also to educate myself a bit in another part of the world. So I came out to IIT Kanpur and worked with the program, and I was here a total of about 3 years before returning.
Our teachers at the time, our head of the department, Dr. E.C. Subbarao, he was in MIT. From there he came here.
I never heard of any IIT because by the time I left India, no IIT, not even Kharagpur was started. And I never heard of Dr. Khelka. So when he came, I asked him, you tell me something about yourself. Then Dr. Khelka gave an extempore, very fantastic talk for half an hour on what he has in mind for Kanpur. I was very impressed. Then he came back to Kanpur and he wrote me a letter, a 2-page letter which I have even now, telling me that we need people like you, I want you to come back to Kanpur. Then he sent me an offer, and my wife wanted to raise the children in India, so I accepted the Kanpur offer and I came here in 1963.
I joined IIT Kanpur on 20th October 1960 after I had been at Dalmianagar in a cement factory for about 3 years. Prior to that, I had worked at Bhakra Dam project for about 6 months, and during this period I was not very happy with whatever I'm doing, in the sense I felt that I'm not utilizing the knowledge I've gained in my engineering studies. So I applied for position at IIT Kanpur, and I was very lucky that I was selected for that.
The students who entered were very good, they're very eager, wanted to learn, and were looking forward to their future.
Our usual program was go to work, go to school, come back and eat a snack, and then go off and play some sport, usually basketball, sometimes cricket, depending on the season.
Then during that year, Mr. Bhargava, our mechanical engineer, who was teaching us mechanical drawing, he became our sports officer and he started sports activities. So during that first sports meet, I became a sports champion of IIT Kanpur. Then I was captaining the volleyball team of IIT Kanpur. I was athletics captain, and we represented IIT Kanpur in inter-IIT meet in Bombay that time.
Other plays that we did, we had an annual function every year, and I was very much involved in creating the first drama group, and it was called the Techno Theatre Group. And this was hugely popular with the student group, because there was really nothing else to do. There was no entertainment, and Kalyanpur, even when we were back there at the Textile Institute hostel, there was really not much to do except to go to movies.
और थोड़ी दूर पर बिरबेक टाकीज, तो हम लोगों ने जो वो मुगले आजम की जो फर्स्ट डे हम लोगों ने जाके वहाँ पे मुगले आजम पिक्चर देखी वहाँ पर, और शहर पास था तो खूब चाट वगैरह खाने का खूब लगा रहता था वहाँ पर। हम डबल हाथरस वाले एक अभी भी दुकान है, हमने पता लगाया कि उनकी आलू की टिकिया और गाजर का हलवा और ये सब खूब मिलता था।
In the final year of our BTech, we have to do a project which involved building something. It's not just theoretical paper or research or something, designing something, building something, testing something. So those projects made a big impact. An electrical engineering professor, William Schreiber, he brought the first TV system. Now this is not just a television, it's a system. That means you can make TV programs, how they're made, how they're broadcasted, how they're received, and our students over here were producing programs. In fact, our first convocation in October 65 with the President of India, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, was in fact broadcasted on TV. Now before that, Government of India said you can't broadcast illegal broadcasting, so they put a cable. So we had cable TV, okay, which came much later in India. There was no television in any city in India. So we were a pioneer in doing that. And that's the kind of beauty of the education in IIT Kanpur in those times. They made us work with our hands. And they made us work with our brains. They made us work, integrated our brains with our hands.
बुक्स वगैरह सब अमेरिकन बुक्स हम लोगों ने पढ़ी. हमारे टीचर्स मतलब इंडिया के भी थे, अमेरिका के भी थे. तो इट वाज द बेस्ट एजुकेशन आई गॉट.
And they brought equipment, they brought knowledge about the equipment, and they insisted that we do projects.
One of the things that I did in my case is I brought a small airplane here, a little four-seater single engine, which attracted a lot of attention from the students. We also started aeronautical engineering at IIT Kanpur, and the airplane was there for them to see it up close hand. Many of them had never even been on an aircraft before that for a trip. And the aircraft contributed to their education, particularly those who were in aeronautical engineering.
We built the first airfield, I think the only airfield in an educational institute in India. And a question was asked from the state, hey, are we training pilots or are we training engineers? The answer given by Holt Ashley, who had come from MIT, and of course through the department, was no, we are creating aeronautical engineers that will build airplanes that will fly, because you can't do these things theoretically. You need to be totally know how things work. Without your experiential knowledge, the way we do it is, if you're building a computer, you need to work with computer. It's not just something in a book. You need to experience with it. So the first digital computer came 1620.
Towards the end of 1963, IIT received its first computer from, it was an IBM 1620, and I was very fascinated by it. One reason being that there was a professor from Princeton University, Foreman Acton. He was a very inspiring teacher, and I had also cried before him lack of finances. So he said that, look, why don't you work with me in the computer center, and we'll pay you 5 rupees an hour. And I thought I was in heaven, from 2 rupees an hour to 5 rupees an hour. So I started working with him, and I worked as an operator of IBM 1620 computer in the computer center, and that was really a salary which you would call luxurious, and a jump from 2 rupees an hour to 5 rupees an hour, and that was a great thing. And as a result, I started to work there, and that money eventually saw me through my financial difficulties, and I managed to graduate.
After graduating from IIT, I worked for a very short time in India for 2 companies, Greaves Cotton in Kanpur and Bird & Company in Kumardhubi. And then I went to the United States, where I did my master's at Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey. And from there I was picked up by IBM.
I left in 1965, and then I went to Waterloo, the University of Waterloo in Canada, and I did my master's there. When I finished there, I worked for a couple of years at the Atomic Energy of Canada in near Toronto. Then I began to look across to the other side of the border. So I spent the next 20 years in Saudi Arabia till 98, and then came back to the United States. And I'm still there. It's 17 years later, but I work part-time now, and I work 4 days a week, 5 hours a day, so that's 20 hours a week.
So I left my colleagues and joined the railways, but I didn't like the government job as a class 1 officer, so I left in 1969 after less than 2 years service in the Indian Railways, and I went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in upstate New York, and I did my master's in engineering, and finishing that I started my career. Most of my career, in fact all of the career practically, is in the US, and that too in the semiconductor industry. In the process of the industry, I have worked in fabs, I've also worked in assembly and tests, I've also worked in R&D, and traveled all over the world as a part of Texas Instruments and National Semiconductor. I also worked for Hewlett Packard for 9 years. I retired as executive last year in National Semiconductor, which later on got acquired by Texas Instruments.
After passing out from this IIT Kanpur, most of my friends, they went, I initiated, and I had also applied to USA from MIT, Carnegie University, California University. I got selected, I got a scholarship. Then it came in mind, why if after government of India is spending so much money for the college, and that time, and everybody is going outside, and who is going to work here? Who will see the development of the country? Why it is so happening? So I decided I will not go from this place. I will stay in India, I will work in the steel plant. So I chose the hardest department, steel melting shop, where 1300-degree temperatures were there. But I was enjoying working there because we are making steel. So we made all type of steel, high value added steel, alloy steel. The steel we made, first time we made the shipbuilding steel for the Navy, for the Air Force, these tanks, all steels we have made. I retired as general manager, head of the shop, slabing mill, retired from there, and I got settled in Bokaro.
I actually again my project career also when I joined Bokaro with the Hindustan Steel Limited. That time also in country there were two thoughts going on, whether to going for that brain drain business. People telling that people are studying here and going to America and other places, and it is just like a brain drain. That was this some concern, but now at the end of it, now those who are gone earlier, and they are now most sought after people by the government also. So we feel as per this, it seems sometimes people committed a mistake continuing in country. But anyway, that was what fate went to win. Anyway, completed from Bokaro to I was transferred to Durgapur, and Durgapur to retired in 2003. As executive director was head of the works.
और यहाँ से निकलने के बाद में पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन के थ्रू सेंट्रल में भी और यूपी में दोनों जगह हमारा सिलेक्शन हो गया. मैंने यूपी इरिगेशन को मैं सर्विस किया, तो मैंने अपने करियर में रामगंगा डैम उस पर काम किया. इसके बाद में लखवाड़ डैम देहरादून में काम किया, कोटेश्वर डैम टेहरी में, और टेहरी डैम टेहरी में भी मैंने काम किया. टेहरी डैम का तो मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन का इंचार्ज था एज डीजीएम and head of Department of Spillways.
After passing out in 1965, I joined SAIL, Steel Authority of India, and at Bhilai steel plant. We had 4,500 executives, and I was elected president for 4 times, 2 years tenure each. And I was elected even chairman Steel Executives Federation of India twice. And I retired as general manager Mills Flat Products from Bhilai.
What I feel, the students from the IIT, they should go to research and development side. Once they go to research and development side, they will do much better. So this education in the IIT Kanpur, which the way they are teaching and giving, any student can go any branch, any type of field in the world, and they will do the best.
I know IIT Kanpur you are very lucky, you have a good reputation. As soon as they hear IIT Kanpur, they're going to give you a chance and give you a good leadership position or a good technical position. But remember, after that, it doesn't matter. After you start working, it doesn't matter if you're from IIT Kanpur. You have to show performance. You have to add value. Soon they will forget that you're from IIT Kanpur, and they will look at you and watch how you're contributing to the overall organization. So keep that in mind. The laurels of IIT Kanpur are very useful, but only initially.
I would say this, that the training in IIT, I think, helped each and every one of us with whatever field that we got into when we went to the States. And in all the universities, I think everyone in our batch did very, very well. So the training in IIT was very, very helpful. And we had a very close relationship with ourselves, with the professors, with the director himself. Professor Kelkar knew each and every one of us. The deputy director, Professor Mathana, knew all of us. And we had a very, very close relationship.
The point to be mentioned is that the level of flexibility we have to work for the good of the students. We were not bound by the rules and regulations. The kind of freedom the teacher has here is tremendous, and he can offer within the limits of the basic core curriculum his best to the students.
Whatever be the student quality, if the teacher is really inspired and he can instill that inspiration into the student, they are basically better than the average student, far better than the average student.
I would just like to comment that the IIT standard is no less than any institute anywhere.
To future students, all I can say in general is dream big, that there is no shame in doing anything, any job that serves your purpose, and focus on the country, what benefits the country, and in a larger context, what benefits humanity.
In IIT Bombay, Delhi, in fact most of the people, IIT, the directors had come from IIT Kanpur. Even today, you go over there and you find in different IITs, half of them are run by people who are either alumni of IIT Kanpur or ex-faculty of IIT Kanpur, some connection. So there is something in the DNA of IIT Kanpur to be innovative leader in academics.
और हम आशा करते हैं कि हमारा इंस्टीट्यूट IIT फ्यूचर के लिए, अपने देश के लिए, सभी यंग लोगों के लिए एक बूंद साबित हो और तरक्की करे.
So we have now heard a few of the alumni who visited us and told you certain aspects of life in HBTI campus and in the Kalyanpur campus. They also talked about the charismatic first director, Professor P.K. Kelkar. They also mentioned about the absence of any man-made structures in this campus, which there are many now, and they could not recognize a lot of things. They also talked about a single hostel where the entire student community of 286 lived, and their warden, Professor H.D. Bist. We thank these pioneers who gave us an opportunity to relive their memories with us and share some of their professional and personal experience.